Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the LeaderMan. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is?
It's Cinco de Mayo.
Festive celebration of Mexican culture.
Plus,
Drinking margaritas.
hey, getting ready for Cinco de Mayo?
I am throwing a big Cinco de Mayo party.
Big Cinco de Mayo numero uno. De Mayo.
Today, let's celebrate Cinco de Mayo, which of course is followed by Siesta Hangover.
It's showtime.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. You're listening to Mornings with LeaderMan. Oh, geez, I'm starting off good on this hump day, aren't I, guys? We're listening to Mornings with the LeaderMan, and it's hump day, and I can't wait till Friday because my mouth doesn't work anymore. Hopefully, Jeff's mouth is working a little better than mine.
Yeah, too many margaritas this morning, huh?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's too many margaritas.
Hey, it's not a great day here, but get outside and take your walk while you still got a chance. And while you're at it, get your little grabby thing and pick up that trash at the end of your driveway. I saw some of it out this morning, so we need to get that up before the rain because we don't want to pollute the watershed with the taxpayer-subsidized pilot.
And, of course, I still have John Zumwalt in the studio with me again this morning. He snuck out on us yesterday, but that's okay. Hensley did a good job filling in for you.
Well, he had some good stuff yesterday.
Yep. Well, when you have David, you definitely do not need me. You've got the David and the Colonel and Dorothy, so you can't go wrong there.
So, you guys got anything exciting planned for Cinco de Mayo? I've already had my margaritas for today, so.
No, I was going to watch Speedy Gonzales on the Cartoon Channel.
That's what that music in the movie.
Yeah, I know.
It's the first thing I thought of. All I could think of was.
I love that music. I grew up in South Texas, and I like to go eat at Mexican restaurants, and they play that Mexican music.
What do you call it? Mariachi band? Is that?
Yeah,
it?
that kind. It's a different kind.
Is it?
But Speedy Gonzales, you guys do know this. This is not a joke. They have taken him off the Cartoon Network because of the stereotype of the speedy Mexican.
I always liked Slowpoke Rodriguez. Slowpoke, his cousin or brother.
Yeah.
He always cracked me up. Mr. Laid Back Chill Mouse.
Well, I love Mexican music. Always have, and I'm going to tell you, I always will. So
it's chipper. Most of it's so chipper.
Most of it's chipper. And plus, I always thought I could be a singer in one of those bands because...
They don't say much, do they?
Because they're loud and they wouldn't hear you.
and the Colonel wouldn't be listening, so I'll be all right. All right, we ready?
Ready as I'll ever be, I think.
Okay, now see, this is not fair, and I think the Colonel, this is one time he may agree with me.
Uh-oh.
Dorothy has a button, and when she coughs, she can cut it off. We're nowhere near the board. So when I cough, it sounds like some hacking mule.
All you got to do is just give me a look, and I'll shut you off for 2 seconds.
Let's just give that a try. Ready?
Uh-huh.
That wasn't the look, Dorothy. That was not the look. It'd be a different look.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
I've gathered a few headlines here that I just...
Too many margaritas, not enough water this morning. Sorry.
All right. I want to talk about Bill Gates and Melinda Gates a little bit. Now, I'm not really one to care a hoot. You have to. That's a measurement. It's an actual measurement, a hoot, about someone's getting a divorce. No matter what, it's a tragic event, and I don't make any moral judgments about it. But I do think there might be a judgment or two to be made here. And let me just point it out. You've surely heard of this by now. Bill Gates, it turns out, has been taking a long weekend getaway with his ex-girlfriend since he's been married to Melinda.
Yeah, that's typical for the type of
Now here's okay, and you're right. It's typical. I don't have anything no judgment to make about that, but I do have a couple of comments. Bill, listen. This is the difference between a guy like Bill Gates and a normal guy. And I'm a normal guy. Jeff, you're a normal guy. Dorothy, you're a normal girl.
Darn, I don't like being normal.
Well,
that's
see,
so boring.
I thought about using a different adjective that was more complimentary, but I know that somebody'd file a charge against me if I did.
I've always felt like I'm one of the guys because most of my friends have always been guys, so I've always been one of the guys, so it's okay.
Well, Dorothy, let me see if I can say this complimentary without getting in trouble.
Okay.
You're a lot of things, Dorothy. But you're no guy.
No, I'm not.
All right. That's probably okay.
Yeah, lean a little far over the line there. There you go.
Well, I was waiting. I gave her the look. She's supposed to turn the mic off. All right. Here's the thing that got me about Bill Gates. Not a normal guy and a normal guy. Here's the excuse. Here's what Bill Gates told Melinda. He said, yeah, Melinda, this is actually what and he told the press this too. We would play putt-putt golf while discussing biotechnology. Now, I don't know about, I would just like for every guy out there, and as far as that goes, every lady, to ask yourself what you would do if you heard your husband say the following words. Honey, you remember that girl I was dating before I met you? I dated all through high school. We're going to go to the beach for an extended weekend, but honey, don't you worry, because we're going to play putt-putt golf and we're going to discuss biotechnology. See, he left out something very important. He left out the comma. The comma is very important. He should have said, we'll be discussing biotechnology, comma, and honey, I'd like you to go with us, and let her stay in the room next to it. Okay. I don't know what a regular guy would use for an excuse, because he would never get away with that. Bill said they were riding dune buggies and hang gliding. Yeah, have you ever seen a picture of Bill Gates? Does he look like a guy who,
No.
I mean, he's very smart and he's done very well. Okay, now get this. Bill decided to go on a trip with her to Brazil. Now, a normal guy, I don't know what a normal guy, first of all, wouldn't do that. Would not fly to Brazil for an extended weekend with his girlfriend because, first of all, he couldn't afford it, and hopefully he wouldn't do it. But to throw his wife off, Bill bought with him an 1,100-page textbook on molecular biology and told Melinda that they had studied it together. Well, now look, okay, some of you are saying, well, he's a very bright man, and he probably, no. They took their long walk on the beach, and then Bill decided, honey, let's spend the rest of the evening, now that we finished this wine, and study this 1,100-page textbook on molecular biology.
Sounds so romantic, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying unless, well, no, I'm not even going to say that. Now, Bill has hired a lawyer, and I read who it was, and it's apparently the guy's pretty good. I mean, you figure if you've got $130 billion.
Sure, yeah. It's these moneyed guys are going to have lots of lawyers involved, and money allows them to do things and get away with things, and have their wives overlook things where it probably need to clarify. Hey, normal guys are around there cheating and stuff like that too, but unfortunately, when the wife finds out, they get clubbed like a baby seal.
Yes, and
this guy's got billions, so he's not worried about that.
And we're not making light of someone messing around.
Right.
But he hired this lawyer, and this lawyer said, quote, when he found out about that book and the beaches, he said, well, that's pretty handy information. No, he didn't say that. I made that up. I made that part up.
Well, if Bill Gates is so smart, why didn't he get himself a law book and he doesn't need to hire a lawyer?
Yeah, or why didn't he stay home with his wife? I mean,
well, there you go.
But apparently she's known about it, and it really and truly didn't say whether she believed they were studying that book or what. But anyway.
Right. But see, money is the solve for all. She doesn't. Bill Gates' wife doesn't feel embarrassed. She's not worried about it because what? She's going to end up with $60 billion.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Well,
where are they from? They're from Washington. I don't know what the laws up there in Washington are.
Well, let's just say they take 99% and give it to her. He's still a billionaire.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I was. I got another story here. You want to hear it?
Okay.
A little 6-year-old girl. Which let me start off by telling you, this is not going to end poorly.
Okay.
Because
good.
I can't stand anything about children that would end poorly. A girl in Hawaii was in the surf. Her mother and dad said, or mother said, they go there every other week. And so you figure, and they live in Hawaii, so they've been there quite a bit at the beach. And the little girl turned around, and there was a shark right behind, within inches, the witnesses said. And the little girl turned around, and there it was. Well, that'd be kind of scary. I'm the kind of guy, if I get up in the middle of the night, and I turn around, and all of a sudden there's one of those little scary girls from the movies, that would freak me out. But this is a shark. I mean, you got to figure a shark. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be standing there thinking, who rang the dinner bell?
Yeah, shark's like, what? So the girl, this is a quote supposedly made by the girl, and I think it sounds pretty mature of her. She said she felt that her soul had left her body. She started screaming bloody murder, according to the witnesses, and she ran to shore. Doesn't say whether the shark was chasing her, probably not. I think I read somewhere that it was a black tip, not particularly dangerous, but it's a shark.
Right,
It's in
yeah,
the
oh
water.
yeah. You don't know that when you're standing there knee deep in water or whatever.
I would say when you're standing in his house, every shark is dangerous.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how aggressive or not they are. It's a shark. You need to get the heck out of his house.
I know. I mean, I have a Chihuahua now, but about 10 years ago, a friend of mine had a Chihuahua, and it was pretty aggressive. And he said to me, "Don't worry, the bite doesn't hurt you." I'm like, no. He said, "It's a Chihuahua. I don't care.
It's
I don't
still a
care.
dog.
If it can bite me, get it out of here, or I'll leave." But anyway, here's the thing that I wanted to tell you about. This 6-year-old girl was screaming bloody murder. The whole thing was captured on videotape
Of course.
by her mother.
Oh, she did. The mother.
Her mother.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking.
No, I'm not going to help my kid. I'm just going to stand here with my phone and videotape this just in case.
Well, she's probably thinking, the kid can't outrun a shark, and this might be a little something to help the family when we sell.
And we'll need to identify what type of shark it was so people can study it or
right.
something, right? Yeah.
I can see the little girl in therapy in 20 years.
Hey, Mom, drop the phone and go get your kid.
Beat the shark with the whatever,
phone.
the phone, the camera, whatever. But I could not get over that. I don't know a single parent that wouldn't have thrown that phone and
Yeah,
run
my
out
phone
in
would
that
have
water.
been on sailing at the shark, and then anything else I could have gotten my hands on.
I think everyone agrees. Look, I don't. There are a lot of people. There are very few people who would say I would attack a shark, but there's probably not many parents that would not gladly run in that water
Oh, yeah.
to save their
Do
child,
something.
from
Right.
a shark. Now, Colonel, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Uh-oh.
If you or the leader man were in that water and there was a shark, I would be saying, make sure I'm getting this video.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, can y'all slow down a little bit because you're losing the shark. This poor girl's going to be in therapy in 20 years going, and I looked up and mother was taping the whole thing. And that's why I shoot people now.
At her
All
age.
these things with the videos, I'm getting pretty tired of it. You see whatever, somebody just getting beat, and people are just standing around and or with their phone. You can see, it just happens all the time. Cops in trouble. It's 15 people standing there videoing the thing, and nobody's helping. Or some poor Asian lady's getting her head kicked in, and one clown goes over and closes the door on the store so he doesn't have to hear it, I guess. Jesus.
Jeff, I'm with you. I'm sorry, Colonel, because I'll hear about this later if I say Jeff. I wonder if anybody really thinks that's
Yes, you
true.
will.
All right. Well, I think we've probably talked about that one. I want to talk about this just seems a little wrong to me. I don't know. You two and all you people out there, be the judge. No pun intended on this, what I'm about to tell you. I'm a guy who has a great deal of respect for the courtroom. It would never occur to me to walk into a courtroom, for example, wearing my hat or dressed like an animal. I just believe that I just the way I was raised. You can criticize me all you want. That's okay. But I think the judge might have gone a little overboard here. I don't know. A Detroit judge threatened to put a man in jail because the man wore a T-shirt to court. Okay, let's go to part 2 of this. It was a virtual courtroom, and the man was at the construction site where he worked. So the judge said, all right, you don't come to my court dressed like that, and if you do, I'll dress you. I'll put you in the jail, and you can wear the jail attire. So the man told him, I don't know how he said it, I don't have the verbiage, but he said, Your Honor, I'm at work, I'm on my construction site, and so I'm thinking, as I read this story, poor guy can't afford to take off from work, go home, put on a suit or whatever, and then go to court. So he just did what, it's virtual court, I'll take a break from my construction job, which I need to pay this fine probably, and I'll just get on there. And the judge chewed him out. Well, some woman, I don't know where she was. She probably a bystander, you know how people gather around, yelled out something about, well, you're getting a little bit big for yourself there, aren't you, Judge?
Oh, no.
And he said, the judge said, who was that? Who? Well, now, had that been me, had I been the guy, I would have immediately said, that was a colonel. But no, he couldn't figure out who it was, but he threatened her too. He told her he'll have her in jail. I don't know. Come on. I really do believe in the respect for the court system. But don't you? Do you think that's going a little far?
If you're having a virtual court session, I think kind of dress code can somewhat be overlooked.
I went to court quite a few times, but you knew individually which court you were going to, and there's different rules in different courts, county to county. We had 4 different counties and 3 other cities that we would have to go to court in, and every one of them's a little bit different. But you had a cheat sheet, at least it was produced for us, that said, don't do this or don't say that. Other than that, we were pretty much dressed. But for the civilians, for the people, the accused, or however you want to put them, I'm not sure that gets published to them all the time. And, individually from judge to judge in the same courtrooms can vary too.
Absolutely.
So,
I would wager that if you went to court in just about any city, you'll find folks in there in a T-shirt, depending on the court, Jeff.
You're there.
When you started, I'm sitting there thinking back. I remember once, this is Virginia Beach, and I think I'm pretty much sure they had a sign that said, hey, wear appropriate attire, know this, don't wear this, don't wear that kind of thing. And I just remember I was sitting there one day and I'd written a summons to somebody for, I don't even remember what. And he, so I'm sitting there and he comes in and he just kind of sneers at me. He says, I'm getting off of this. And I kind of looked at him. He's wearing cutoffs and sandals. And I'm thinking, we'll see. And the bailiff comes over and snatched him up and threw him right out of the court. So, he wasn't allowed in to make his point. Yeah. And guess what? He was guilty.
I mean, that's you look. If you're going before someone who can affect your life in a negative or a positive way, you've got to use your head.
You want to put your best face forward.
Right.
So, Dorothy, the reason we brought this up, this is actually an intervention about the way you dress here at work.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, why? Because I wear jeans and T-shirts every day? Hey, you're lucky I got dressed. It's early.
Okay, well, we've been successful with this intervention, so I'm very happy about that.
But courtrooms, a lot of them, I'm just thinking some of the other courts that we went in didn't have anything. Yeah. And you could see all kinds of different get-ups in these courts.
Yeah, I mean, if you're physically walking into a courtroom, I can see, you should put your best shirt on, your best face on, whether or not they ask for it. But if you're in a virtual setting where you can be technically in court from anywhere on the planet, those kind of rules need to be relaxed a little.
Especially if you're on your job site working.
If you're still technically working while you're at court, I mean, here, multitasking to its finest.
That ought to be a clue to the judge, all right, well, hey, this gent, at least I don't know what the charge was, but hey, he's working. etc.
He's not
Maybe
sitting-
I'll use a little common sense and not harass the guy. Now, if he's laying on his couch in his underwear, maybe I'll have some words for
Well,
him.
it turns out that's why he's in court.
Oh, well, exactly.
All right.
I don't know. You're right. They need to.
Yeah, come on, Judge. Use some judgment and wisdom. All right.
That sounds like just being a jerk for the sake of being a jerk there to me.
Yeah, a little bit, I think. But
So.
but then again, I'm not the judge. So,
Yeah.
all right. Here's one from Torrance, California. Have y'all heard about this one? There are 2 different houses in a few days. 2 different houses. More than 800 birds entered each house through a chimney
Ooh, yeah.
last Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Station KTLA reported. According to the homeowner, the birds
Oh no.
the birds stayed in the house for several days and flew all over the house. But here's a quote from the homeowner. By the way, have you ever heard of this before? Either one of you?
What? Oh, I've heard of this happening, but I haven't read that particular article.
So it's happened before, like 800 birds flying through a chimney.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Hey, you're nodding your head too, Dorothy.
I've heard of birds go, not 800, but I've heard of 2 or 3 birds going into the chimney or getting caught in the chimney or something like that.
Yeah, chimney swifts or whatever. You can, if you leave your flue open and you don't have a screen or something, bats. I know I've heard of bats going in houses. I don't know 800, but dozens of bats hanging around in people's houses.
I've seen. I saw a headline over the winter that some poor owl got caught, went down somebody's chimney, and they got up the next morning, and there was this owl sitting in their fireplace.
Right.
Poor thing couldn't get out.
Well, in this house, the story says more than 800 birds, so it could have been 801 or whatever. But anyway, the homeowner had a great quote. The homeowner said, "If you don't see it with your own eyes, you'd never believe what a mess they can make." Well,
yes, I can.
I really don't have to see it. I can imagine.
I've seen the aftermath of the pavement after starlings have sat in a tree for 15 minutes.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
if
can
you're-
only
if you're-
imagine. Ugh.
Well, in fairness to the homeowner, if you're having trouble envisioning this, if you'll go park your car under a tree downtown, you'll understand a little better. I mean, can you imagine days?
Yep.
I mean, that house is almost totaled, I would think. And here's the problem.
Can you? First thing that always pops into my head is what is the reaction of the insurance agent when you call to say, yeah, I need to make a claim because there were 800 birds in my house, and you can only imagine what they did to it.
That's an act of God. Click.
Well, it's there actually is a term for it. It's BPD. Are y'all familiar with that?
No.
Bird poop damage.
No.
I made that up. All right. I don't know. I just, I don't even know how you get rid of them. I guess you open the door and shoo them out. You can't shoot them all. I mean, come on. And it's probably against the law to shoot them anyway.
800 birds in your house. I don't know.
Open the doors, toss a firecracker in, and hope for the best. I mean,
Steve, how he does it.
Yeah. Now, if you grow up with rednecks like I did, they would. You would.
nice
dinner.
segue.
They would be like, "I see you don't have any birds in the house." No, not since we got those shotgun shell holes plugged up. Yeah. All right. Here's a headline. It's just a headline. That's all I want to talk about is the headline. Because I wonder sometimes who writes these headlines. Here it is, the whole thing. Tearful roommate, 27, admits she helped cover up grisly member. She helps. I'm going to start over. Tearful, that's the key word, tearful.
Okay.
Roommate, 27, admits she helped cover up a grisly murder and dismemberment of a 19-year-old, and it gives the name, in Minnesota. Okay, tearful roommate. For some reason that grabbed me. I'm like, tearful is not quite enough. If you cut your roommate up, I mean, tearful, really tearful. It should be
She's
hysterical.
Crying. She got caught, so she's crying. I guess I don't know. Or
I mean, tearful. I'm thinking that should be obvious. Or why did you feel the need to put tearful? Even that poor girl running from that shark while her mother videotaped it was more than tearful. She was like hysterical. So it should be hysterical. So I see the colonel's looking at me like, that's, what did you even mention?
I don't know, man. Minnesota, well, you know.
Yeah, very well said.
I got nothing.
I know. All right, you guys all know who Elon Musk is.
Elon, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's very rich.
Of course.
And you know he's going to be on. I don't know if you know this, but he's going to host Saturday Night Live this weekend.
Oh, I read about this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never watched Saturday Night Live, so I had no idea.
I haven't seen it since John Belushi days.
Well, that was like the first season.
Yeah. I remember watching that and reading in the paper that your birth announcement.
What was that, like 75 or something?
I don't know.
It was a long time ago. And it probably was in around 75 or so. But I
was
don't know.
in college. I was 74 or 75. I can't remember.
But here's the thing that got me. This is a very successful man. He's made his way in his own right in this world, and he will continue to do better and better and better. And the Saturday night, there are folks, I don't know why I'm having trouble saying Saturday. I could be having a stroke. But Saturday Night Live, boy, that sounded like some of the cast does not want to be seen with him. What? I mean, who do you little punks, you managed to get a gig on SNL.
A bad TV show.
And you are too good to, I got news for y'all. There are a lot of people that used to be on SNL. Nobody knows who they are, but they'll always know who he is. And if you're going to have to suck up to one side or the other, I'd be over there trying to get in a photo with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. My son actually ran into him and his wife at a movie theater, believe it or not, in California. My son and his girlfriend, and my son's girlfriend tried to approach him, and he was headed off by a bodyguard. You know, very polite, and said, "Mr. Whatever, doesn't like to be bothered when he's out with his family." Well,
Yeah, sure.
You know, you understand that. He didn't grab him and slap him around or anything. All right, I got to get this in because I want to give a shout out to cops. A Nashville officer, Nashville, Tennessee, some piece of dirt called in a fake call. When the police officer got there, the guy shot him with a rifle. The guy's name that shot him was Salman Muhammad, and it's not clear yet if he was a Mormon or a Southern Baptist, but his name was Salman Muhammad.
He's Amish, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably he might have been Amish, but Muhammad. Anyway, then Muhammad came out of the house and shot himself fatally in the head.
Good.
No officers fired a shot. Now I'm thinking, so they'll be charged with murder pretty soon. One of the officers will. And
Yeah, for being there.
And there'll
Yeah.
be riots
Right.
because that officer that Muhammad shot himself in the head after he shot a police officer.
Yeah.
So that's where we're headed. But I want to just give a shout out to all cops and say, we're so with you guys. Be careful. Be careful.
Well, I feel good for the cops that were there because they didn't have to shoot him. The guy,
Yeah.
You know, because no matter what you think, you shoot somebody and you do that, you don't really feel great about it afterwards.
Yeah, no, I know it's something they'll have to live with, no matter how justified.
Right.
Cops don't enjoy shooting people. I wish people would get that through their brain. How we doing, Dorothy?
We're doing just great.
I mean, how much time we got left?
We got about a minute and a half.
You got to give him the finger single.
It's like having Sleepy Ed in here. What, adjourn? Anyway, okay. Here's one that'll make everyone feel a lot better. Some of you have hesitated to go to Burger King because the packaging was not environmentally safe.
That's the main reason I don't go to
Yeah.
Burger King. Okay.
That's right.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard people in there going, "This nasty cheeseburger with one pickle on it I love it, but this doggone wrapper offends me." So they've made their Burger King has made their packaging environmentally safe. The cutlery. What cutlery do you need in Burger
Cutlery
King?
in Burger King? I don't know.
Well, it's made with plant-based plastic, and I got to get this in. The napkins are made with 100% recycled paper.
Oh,
the napkin. Now I don't know about you, but I don't want to be using a napkin that somebody might have wiped his hind end with 2 months ago, and they've recycled it. I am not all about recycle. I mean, it's okay to recycle, but I don't know. But Burger King, I wish you guys would hire me because there's a few things you can work on besides environmentally safe packaging.
God, I don't remember the last time I was at a Burger King.
Well, you got to work on that memory, Dorothy. When
I'm
you
trying
drank
to
like you do it, I can understand that.
I'm trying to think. I was probably living in Oklahoma, and that was like 15 years ago.
Dorothy's going, we're Were we just in a
Likely to
Burger
see a
King?
few early showers, and those are going to clear out leading into the afternoon. We're going to stay mostly dry until late afternoon and this evening. A few showers and thunderstorms will develop ahead of our cold front that's going to move through the region today. It's going to be steamy out there with highs in the mid-80s and lower 90s. Tomorrow will be pleasant with sunshine moving in and temperatures in the low to mid-70s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sandhills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Should former President Trump be allowed back on Facebook and co-owned Instagram? A decision due to be announced this morning.
The decision by Facebook's oversight board is binding. If the oversight board rules in Trump's favor, Facebook will have 7 days to reinstate his account. If the board rules against Trump, his account will remain indefinitely suspended.
Correspondent Mike Rossia says Mr. Trump's account suspended following the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot. High winds, tornadoes, torrential rains, flash flooding. A wide swath of the South reeling in the aftermath of more severe weather. Robert Graham is a county official in Jackson, Mississippi. And looking back over the past 25 years.
This is the first time that I've ever seen it hit this particular hard. So we have several trees down. It's going to take a while. And that's just with the trees and the tree limbs, not to consider the trees that are houses where there's trees completely down the middle of the house.
He spoke with WBLT-TV. Birmingham, Alabama and vicinity swamped by extremely heavy rain, unleashing flash floods. There have been numerous high water rescues. Some 300,000 utility customers without power from the Deep South to Virginia and West Virginia. President Biden says there is a group of Americans that he hopes will soon be getting the coronavirus vaccine.
Children between the ages of 12 and 15 years of age. They're not yet eligible for a vaccine. The FDA scientists are currently reviewing the data to decide if and when to authorize that age range for vaccinations.
And the decision by the FDA on vaccine authorization could come as early as this week. Watching Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a higher open. Right now, Dow futures up 77 points, NASDAQ futures 97 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Mounds and mounds of fur. Our hairballs have hairballs.
Our cat Mama, she's 10 years old. She has dandruff and an oily coat.
I have two cats, Zippy and Daisy. Daisy sheds like crazy.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives.
DINOVITE.com. I just tried this wonderful Catalicious Dynavite for cats, and my cat has been on it for 2 weeks. She is not scratching anymore. She's not chewing anymore. It is just the best.
I was thrilled when I heard Dynavite for cats was coming out because I'd seen the changes in my dog. To introduce my cat to Dynavite, I took the advice from Dynavite and put their food on top of just a scoop in the bowl, just to get them used to it, because I know if I even switch one little thing, they put their nose up to it. There was not one problem.
Dynavite for life.
You won't believe how happy your cat will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Opposition to the military takeover in Myanmar is not going away. In fact, it appears to be picking up speed despite a harsh crackdown by the authorities.
In the 3 months since the coup in Myanmar, the opposition to the military government, while strongly supported across most of the country, has been almost entirely unarmed. More than 700 people have died and many more been seriously injured as the army and police have used battlefield weapons against protesters. So the announcement by the National Unity Government, the parallel administration set up to challenge military rule, that they're establishing a People's Defence Force is being widely welcomed. This force, though, is for now more of an idea than a reality.
The BBC's Jonathan Head. India's foreign minister has pulled out of in-person meetings at a Group of 7 summit in London because of possible exposure to the coronavirus. Diplomats from the G7 nations holding their first face-to-face meeting in 2 years. Townhall.com. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy stepped up pressure on number 3 House Republican Liz Cheney, claiming rank-and-file concerns about her ability to carry out her job as she trades insults with former President Trump.
McCarthy's comments on the Fox News Channel underscore the continued, if not growing, grip that the former president has on the House GOP. They also spotlighted an increasingly open split between McCarthy and Cheney. Rather than standing by Cheney, as he did in a failed effort to oust her in February, McCarthy essentially planted himself in the camp of her pro-Trump critics. His positioning with her detractors and their increasingly outspoken attacks suggest her hold on her leadership job is in renewed peril. McCarthy's remarks come with Republicans optimistic about their chances of winning back control of the House in the 2022 elections. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Derek Chauvin's lawyer has filed to have his client's convictions in the death of George Floyd tossed out, also seeking a new trial for Chauvin. More on these stories at townhall.com.
As our economy gradually reopens, remember to support local.
Know you're doing the right thing and stay proud.
Be a part of the greatest comeback of all time with Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
Aberdeen Prescription Shop is now open to walk in the shop, and the drive-through window and free delivery is still available. All major insurance is accepted, including TRICARE. Order your prescriptions online at AberdeenRxShop.com and click on mobile for the free app, or call 944-1313. Aberdeen Prescription Shop in the Town and Country Shopping Center on US 1. Now open for walk-ins, and wear your mask.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Dealing with the aftermath of a car wreck can leave you feeling stressed. At Ken's Body Works in West End, you'll get collision repair services you can rely on. Family owned and operated for over 20 years, Ken's Body Works specializes in collision repair, body work, custom paint, dent removal, and much more. No job is too big or too small. Ken's certified technicians will have your vehicle back to its factory look and specifications. Call 910-235-0486 for a free estimate today. That's 910-235-0486. This time of year, it's hard to know whether to put on a coat or short sleeves, not to mention whether to use the heat or AC. But one thing that is predictable is you absolutely need to service your heating and air system to avoid costly repairs or replacements down the road. Call Four Seasons Heating and Air to schedule your service checkup before the summer gets here and it becomes an emergency. Four Seasons Heating and Air, the company that wants you to get comfortable with them. Call 235-0606. That's 235-0606.
Aaron Cooper here with Cooper Ford, your only locally owned Ford dealer in Moore County. All of us here at Cooper Ford are proud to announce we have been awarded the Elite President's Award by Ford Motor Company. Presented to only 10% of all dealers nationwide for excellence in both sales and service customer satisfaction. Treating others the way we want to be treated is how we do business here at Cooper Ford. Located in the heart of Moore County and only minutes from anywhere. So please come see us here in beautiful Carthage or visit us on the web at cooperford.net. And as always, working really hard to be your hometown dealer.
Jared Kirk and Amy McBride of the First Casualty Insurance Group in Southern Pines talk about the benefits of being an FCIG customer.
Our agency has been in business since 1984. We are an independent agency, which means that we have numerous carriers. Having multiple carriers benefits our customers because it offers them more options for their coverage and price.
One of the most asked questions we get from our clients is how much do they need to insure their home for? Many clients think they should insure their home based on tax value or what they could sell their home for. Neither is correct.
Insurance carriers want to insure your home for the replacement value. Replacement value is what it would take to rebuild your home back to its current state in the event of a complete loss.
First Casualty Insurance Group of Southern Pines. Call them today at 910-692-8303 or find them on the web at fcignc.com.
You look out the window. It's dark. You lock the doors. Maybe you set an alarm. You take every precaution. Do whatever it takes to keep your home safe. But it's not. In fact, termites may be destroying your home right now. You may not see them. You may not hear them. But by the time you see the damage termites cause, it may be too late. So don't wait, because now there is something new. Introducing Termidor, the unique treatment that wipes out 100% of the termites in your home in 3 months or less. They'll never see it coming. But you can't get it from any store. So ask for Termidor by name from your pest control company. Because if you're not asking for Termidor, you're asking for trouble.
Termidor is available at Aberdeen Exterminating. Call 944-2474
For service, that's 944-2474.
NCN News. I'm Mike Riley. President Joe Biden has set a new vaccination goal to deliver at least one dose to 70% of American adults by July 4th. Calling the president's goal ambitious but appropriate, UNC epidemiologist Dr. David Weber tells ABC 11.
Walk-in clinics, easier, local, anything that makes it easier will help overcome some vaccine hesitancy.
One person was flown to Vided Medical Center after an SUV collided with a school bus in Pamlico County. All students were picked up by students at the scene. Highway Patrol said the driver of the SUV was flown to Vided Medical Center in Greenville. Arapahoe charter school parent that lives nearby told WCTI.
My kid was already off the bus. I can tell you that right now. And I was immediately worried about all the parents wondering what their kids were doing on the school bus.
Nearly 4 months since then, President Trump was banned from major social media platforms. During the deadly January 6th insurrection, a Facebook oversight board will announce this morning whether it will allow him back on the platform as well as Instagram, which it owns. Jessica Gonzalez is with a group that calls itself the Real Facebook Oversight Board, not the actual board, but rather a watchdog group made up of civil rights activists and more.
The Oversight Board isn't going to fix Facebook. It doesn't have the power. It doesn't have the power to hold the entity accountable to its users. It's no Supreme Court.
People in Alabama and Mississippi are assessing damage after relentless winds and rains pummeled large swaths of the South. This woman lives in Jackson.
I thank God for we were truly blessed because that tornado was, it comes so fast. But we were truly blessed. I'm so thankful for that.
Qualifying income levels and maximum grants would rise for North Carolina's publicly funded scholarship program for K through 12 students to attend private schools under a measure approved by the Senate. You're listening to NCN News.
Ah, the beautiful sounds of the outdoors. Birds, bees, and battery power made by steel. The quiet, powerful way to turn a backyard into a baseball field or a night at the movies. Steel has all the outdoor handheld tools you need, from trimmers to chainsaws to mowers and blowers. Lightweight tools with zero exhaust emissions that make work a breeze and help you enjoy a breeze. Listen up, America. It's time to pick up Steel AK battery-powered homeowner tools, starting at just $199.99. Not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. You'll only find Steel at over 10,000 local dealers. Battery power, made by Steel. Find yours at steelbattery.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Overseas, a pandemic claims another iconic British clothing chain. CBS's Vicki Barker has that.
In 1813, William Debenham invested in a London fabric store, itself founded in 1778.
Do a bit of Debenhams.
Debenhams would go on to become Britain's biggest department store chain with 124 stores nationwide. Today, though, its owners have announced the last Debenhams stores will close by May 15th. The struggling chain finally killed off by COVID and the rise of online retailers. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
The decision by Apple this week to spend $1 billion in North Carolina and create 3,000 new jobs could have large ripple effects. Not all of them positive. North Carolina State economics professor Mike Walden says there will be increased demand for housing.
So we have to look for, make sure we don't have too much red tape that prevents that. Right now, housing is going through a problem with supply, particularly lumber. But over the long run, I think we need to look for innovative ways to build more housing.
Why is a rock climbing class controversial? The answer from CBS's Peter King.
The Cornell University rock climbing course is aimed at people of color, its instructors say, because rock climbing is white-centric due to accessibility and cost issues. Now whites are accusing the school of reverse racism. A Cornell student calls that premise laughable. A university spokesman tells the Cornell Daily Sun the class is open to everyone, not just minorities. Peter King, CBS News.
Tuesday saw a widespread severe weather event sweep across central North Carolina. A man in Sampson County experienced the wrath of the storm firsthand as a tree fell on his pickup truck. Joe Shabbat of Newton Grove says that after his pickup truck sat around for almost 2 years, Tuesday he replaced the battery and moved the truck so he could clean it up. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
A few early sprinkles will gradually give way to drier conditions throughout the day, but later this afternoon and this evening, we could see another round of strong to severe thunderstorms develop as the actual cold front moves through our region. We should see a few lingering storms overnight with temperatures in the lower 50s and mid-60s, but we are likely to see pleasant conditions tomorrow with sunshine and highs in the low to mid-70s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now for your Sandhills news. A man from Vass was arrested on sexual assault charges to include forcible rape of a juvenile after an investigation by the Moore County Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department received a report of a sexual assault involving a juvenile that occurred in the Vass area on January 12th. After a serious and complex investigation that included both forensic and digital evidence examination and analysis, probable cause was established, which enabled us to make an arrest, said Moore County Sheriff Ronnie Fields in a news release. Jackson Smith, 18, was arrested Monday morning on 3 charges and placed at the Moore County Detention Center under a $5,000 secure bond. He was charged with 1 count of first-degree forcible rape, 1 count of statutory rape of a child under 15, and 1 count of sexual battery. The Village of Pinehurst is accepting volunteer applications for the Board of Adjustment and the Planning and Zoning Board. These boards consist of the same 9 council-appointed members and hold monthly meetings. Individuals interested in volunteering should complete an application at www.vopnc.org/volunteer. Jackson Von Paris, a senior at Pinecrest High School, was recently announced as a 2021 Byron Nelson International Junior Golf Award recipient. The Byron Nelson International Junior Golf Awards recognize the achievement of junior golfers around the world. Young athletes who distinguish themselves with high level of junior tournament play, as well as excellence in academics, a commitment to community service, and exceptional character, are selected each year. And that's your WEEB local news this morning from Sandhills Sentinel. Go online to sandhillssentinel.com for more information.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Andrei Svechnikov ended an 8-game goal drought by scoring twice and then assisting on Trovo Tervainen's third-period goal as the Carolina Hurricanes rallied to beat the Chicago Blackhawks 6-3 last night at PNC Arena in Raleigh. Head coach Rod Brindamore on his team having to battle back after going down 2-0 in the first period.
We weren't great and we got stung. I give the guys credit. They tried. We're never usually from a lack of effort. It's just sometimes we almost try to do too much and we get away from the game that we need to play. And we were able to get back in the second, and then the talent is really what took over. Some high-end plays to win us this game.
The Hurricanes have one more game now in their series with Chicago tomorrow night in Raleigh before they close out the regular season with a back-to-back set in Nashville. On the courts, LaMelo Ball had 23 points, including 2 free throws with 5.8 seconds left, and the Charlotte Hornets took another step toward the postseason with a 102-99 win over the Pistons in Detroit. Head coach James Borrego crediting Ball's performance late and making clutch plays.
That's what makes him special, his ability to find winning plays down the stretch of big games, whether it's a steal, a rebound, a free throw, a big shot, a big pass. These guys imprint all over fourth quarters, end of game situations. He doesn't shy away from the moment, loves the moment, embraces it. So that's a special quality about a young man that's only 19 years old.
The Hornets back in Charlotte tomorrow night against Chicago to open a 5-game homestand. One of the world's biggest sporting events could come to North Carolina and bring up to 600,000 spectators from 150 countries to watch baseball, tennis, diving, gymnastics. The U.S. International University Sports Federation has selected the Triangle region for its bid to host the 2027 Summer FISU World University Games, the biggest multi-sport event for student athletes on the planet. Last time it was held in the U.S., 1993 in Buffalo, New York. This is NCN Sports.
Do you have a frog? You know, the finished room over the garage. Now that everyone's at home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a more comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, a Mitsubishi electric mini split installed by one of our diamond contractors will have you comfortable in no time. Let's turn those hot, uncomfortable spaces in your house into spaces you and your family will enjoy. To learn more, text COOL-NC to 41300.
Are you looking for something unusual or hard to find? You might just find it on highbid.com. It's the online auction site for, well, just about everything. Highbid.com has estate sales, closeouts, liquidations, even government seized vehicle auctions. It's easy to bid on office furniture, antiques, sports memorabilia, restaurant equipment, motorboats, even arcade games. You can search for items by name or simply see where the next page takes you. Visit highbid.com. That's HIBID.com and find out what you're looking for today.
Jimmy Johnson will make his Indianapolis 500 debut this season, but in the television booth, not on the track. Johnson will work for NBC Sports as part of the broadcast team. It will be the first Indy 500 for the 7-time NASCAR champion. He's an IndyCar rookie this year, but he is not running on the ovals. He will join Steve Letarte and work from the NBC pit box on both qualifying weekend and race day. Danica Patrick will also return to the NBC broadcast team for the third consecutive year. North Carolina State has added transfers Casey Morsell and Greg Grant to its roster. The team says each transfer will play next season. The 6'8", 220-pound Grant averaged 4 points and 3.1 rebounds last season for Providence, mostly as a reserve player. The 6'3", 196-pound Morsell averaged 4.4 points off the bench for Virginia. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
The greatest comeback of all time is underway. Remember to shop local businesses. A reminder from Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
Get moving and grooving again at the Greens at Pinehurst. Our physical and occupational therapy and skilled nursing services are the best in the area. And it's because we put the focus where it belongs, on you. With daily routines and a comprehensive activity schedule, there'll be no stopping you. Call 910-295-1781 today or visit the Greens at 205 Rattlesnake Trail in Pinehurst. That number again is 910-295-1781. The Greens at Pinehurst. Get your groove back on.
This is Chuck from Sunbelt Service Pros. Are you just not feeling it anymore with your AC service provider? Are you calling those guys because that's what you've always done, or because there's a sticker on the thermostat with an old phone number on it? How about this? Take a chance and you'll be thrilled to find that you're getting real value for your heating and cooling dollars. When you call Sunbelt Service Pros, you are dealing with a professional and reliable service provider. Our technicians are highly trained and certified and can quickly address any issues. Our customers find our technicians and office staff courteous, friendly, and professional throughout the whole process. We're doing something right here. You need to check us out, find out what you've been missing, and call us today. Sunbelt Service Pros at 910-944-2044 or go online to sunbeltservicepros.com.
Over the past several years, WEEB has been telling you about Seven Lakes Contracting and Asphalt Services. During that time, Sherry and Howard Hoke have experienced a large increase in their business because of their beautiful paved driveways and much more. Seven Lakes Contracting and Asphalt Services offers patching, excavation, and drainage issue solutions, crack filling, seal coating, and striping for both residential and commercial. And now they have added concrete, pouring sidewalks, driveways, curbs, and gutters, pads, as well as pavers. Estimates are free, and they will come to your property to assess your needs. No job is too big or too small. Go online to slcontractingllc.com or the Seven Lakes Contracting and Asphalt Services Facebook page showing photos and customer reviews. So, call 910-673-1318. Active duty military will receive a 10% discount. 910-673-1318.
By now, you have probably heard that Health Innovation Pharmacy sold its retail prescription business to another company. However, they still offer compounding and medical equipment. So for dye-free, preservative-free, alcohol-free, or sugar-free forms of medications, turn to Health Innovation Pharmacy. Same location on Pinehurst Avenue, but with a new phone number, 910-246-2850. And be sure to see all the high-quality medical equipment that Health Innovation Pharmacy offers, like beds, wheelchairs, lift chairs, colostomy, and diabetes supplies, and a large supply of safety equipment, like canes and walker. Open 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Still located at 295 Pinehurst Avenue in Southern Pines. Or call them at 2850. And as always, you can visit them on the web at healthinnovationspharmacy.com.
Give your desk and your back an upgrade. Turn any old workstation into a sit and stand workstation with an Alera raised desktop from Sandhills Office Supply with easy access levers for simple adjustments. This space-saving design is affordable too. Experience the benefits of an Alera lifting workstation with a demo at Sandhills Office Supply on US 1 in Southern Pines next to Smithfield's Barbecue.
If you're like most folks, you love your home. You love your neighborhood and those that live around you. But when you go inside your home, you see that it is in need of a massive updating, especially those bathrooms, kitchen, and great room. You know that these areas need upgrading, but you also know what a task it is to do it yourself. Hi, I'm Steve Leader Adams, and I've built over 2,000 homes, and I and my partner Larry Postawade have over 70 years of construction experience and have our own remodeling business called Relive It Remodeling. We also pride ourselves on making remodeling jobs an easy and enjoyable process for our clients. We look after everything from permits to the last paint stroke. We also show up when we promise and stay until completion. And we also recycle any materials through the Wounded Warrior program. And here's one more promise. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does better quality work than we do. For your next renovation job, give me a call right here at WEEB at 692-7440 or check us out on the web at relivitremodeling.com. Being overweight is the #1 health problem in America today. It leads to so many avoidable health issues. If you have a weight problem and finally want to do something about it, then do what I did and participate in the Transforming You Weight Loss Program offered by Dr. Sharon Wright at Wright Chiropractic in Seven Lakes. It's a customized, physician-assisted program based on your body type and your goals. A healthier, more vibrant, spirited, and slimmer you emerges. Now, I lost 25 pounds in the first month and 50 pounds to date. That keeps me motivated. Now, the program is easy to follow. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and if I can do it, you can do it. Give Dr. Wright a call and set up your no-charge consultation about the Transforming You Weight Loss Program at 910-673-2225. That's Wright Chiropractic at 673-2225.
Hi, this is Rodney Swarms with Plumbing Night. We know that plumbing emergencies can happen at any time. In fact, they seem to happen at the most inconvenient times. And then inviting an unknown plumber into your home, that can add to the stress of the situation. The Plumbing Night wants to alleviate any stress about inviting a technician into your home by guaranteeing that we have not only the very best plumbers, but also the most knowledgeable plumbers. Before any of our employees are hired, all of the employees must undergo drug testing and a thorough background check. If they don't pass, they aren't hired. No exceptions. Once they're hired and part of the team, they receive continuous technical and customer training to ensure that they are the very best at their trade. This training is week after week, month after month, year after year. This training is what got us into community college to teach the plumbing trade. So the next time you have an emergency, call the Plumbing Night. They're known for extraordinary service and integrity.
Call the Plumbing Night at 639-5555, day or night, or on the web at theplumbingnight.com.
Thanks for help bringing the economy back. One local purchase at a time.
Kind of uplifts you and you feel better.
It's the greatest comeback of all time. With Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
The Zumwalt Zone is brought to you by Quality Built Homes, the Sandhills' #1 home builder, developer, and remodeler. With over 1,500 homes built in Moore County, we earn our name every day. Quality Built Homes, 910-944-7453.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. Sometimes when I'm doing my research for a ZZ, I run across people who I feel sorry for. Even if they're criminals, sometimes they have a mental illness or a sad story that just won't allow me not to. This story is different. This story is about two criminals. It's particularly bad because one of them is an assistant principal at a high school. Her name is Laura Carroll. The other criminal's named Emily. Emily was 17 when she was arrested. Both of them were now without a school. Laura's been fired and Emily's been expelled. I bet you think you know what they were doing. Well, you're wrong. Actually, Emily is Laura's daughter, and Laura had been accessing the school's computers. Someone noticed that the files of students had been accessed hundreds of times, all unauthorized. And it turns out, each time, the student involved had cast a vote for Emily for homecoming queen. This happened in Florida, and both of them will be tried as adults. Prosecutors say that each one of them faces a maximum sentence of up to 16 years. That seems a little steep, don't you think? We all know they won't get that, but it's pitiful what people do to sneak in and claim something they don't deserve. The latest tactic is for liberal swamp beans to claim they're conservatives and try to infiltrate Moore County. Do not fall for that tactic. Again, have a good day from the Zumwalt Zone.
We're likely to see a few early showers, and those are going to clear out leading into the afternoon. We're going to stay mostly dry until late afternoon and this evening. A few showers and thunderstorms will develop ahead of our cold front that's going to move through the region today. It's going to be steamy out there with highs in the mid-80s and lower 90s. Tomorrow will be pleasant with sunshine moving in and temperatures in the low to mid-70s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the LeaderMan. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is?
It's Cinco de Mayo.
Festive celebration of Mexican culture.
Plush.
Drinking margaritas.
Hey, getting ready for Cinco de Mayo?
I am throwing a big Cinco de Mayo party.
Big Cinco de Mayo numero uno. De Mayo.
Today, let's celebrate Cinco de Mayo, which of course is followed by Siesta Hangover.
It's showtime.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. You're listening to Mornings with the LeaderMan, and it's Wednesday, it's Cinco de Mayo, and it's also Zumwalt Zone Day. We're almost to Friday. I think we'll make it. In the studio, I have, who's snickering behind the screen that I can't see him, but I can see he's laughing at me. Is Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Jeff. Welcome back.
Burrito day, huh?
Shh. Don't tell anybody. I have one during the break.
Hey, people, hey, get your apple fritters, get your coffee ready. John Zumwalt's in, and he has a special guest for his show this morning.
Yes, John, you ready to rock and roll again this half hour?
Do I look like I'm ready to rock and roll, Dorothy?
Yes.
Now, if you'd have seen me in 1963, which would have been pretty tough.
That would have been more disco, wouldn't it?
Yeah, been very tough. All right, well.
What are you looking at me like that for? What am I missing?
Well, nothing. I was waiting for you to point at me or something. Being an amateur here, I thought you were supposed to point and, like, go. And because I don't.
Here, you got two-finger point. How's that?
I would like to mention this. The American Legion, this Thursday and every Thursday, is having a sale to raise funds. A great organization. You can buy a hot dog or a hamburger, and you get a bag of chips with that and a soft drink. That's a pretty good deal. And they're located at the American Legion Hall, of course, in Aberdeen. And the sale is, do you remember the hours, Colonel?
I think you said 11 to 1 or
That's what I had in my mind, 11 to 1 or 2, guys. I'm sorry, down at the American Legion. I hope we got that right. But
we'll have
anyway.
to figure it out and make sure we got the right hours and tell them again tomorrow.
Okay, we'll do that.
Because tomorrow's the day.
That's right. Tomorrow's the day.
Go tomorrow. Don't go down there today.
Well, you can go down there today. You just won't get anything today. Right. You have to wait till tomorrow.
Well, if you tell them the Colonel sent you, they might whip up a hot dog or a hamburger for you. But
yeah,
don't mention my name when you get there on the wrong day. Okay, we need to get to our guest, a member of the school board. All of you know him and have heard him.
The embattled member of the school board.
Now, my friend David is not here. Hensley is not here to interrupt me, but see, you've taken up his place here.
We're teaching everybody slowly.
Yeah, and Dorothy too. All right. He's a member of the school board, one of the 3 new members, and I would like to re-extend my invitation to all the school board members. Sleepy Ed, if you're up, you know I want you to come on anytime. I call him Bob. I consider him to be a good friend. Most of you know him as Robert Levy because that's what he is ran on, and that's the name he used at school board. But we're going to talk about some things that David was on yesterday. And if you don't know this, David Hensley does a regular Hensley report on Tuesday at this time, 8:30. And it's really good. It's worth keeping up with. You get the inside information. But he didn't have time to go over everything yesterday that happened, and there's some good things that happened. So we've invited Bob, and Bob, I'm going to get my dig in on you because you know I'm going to.
Oh, is it my shoes again?
No,
you're right. I bought them in 1963
there you go.
For my bar mitzvah.
Bob's stealing my jokes, but no, I was going to say, if you ask Bob a question, like let's just say you ask him, Bob, what time is it? He will start off with, Julius Caesar. Back in.
Well, it's true. I mean, you want Greenwich Mean Time. You want to talk Zulu here. We'll talk military Zulu, or we'll talk Eastern Daylight.
Railroad time. Give me some railroad time.
But speaking of time, I'm wasting time, and we've only got 30 minutes. So I would like to, Bob. A lot of things happened at the school board. I imagine you heard David yesterday, so maybe you can cover some of the things that he was not able to get around to.
Well, the one thing that we did do, we got the milk contract taken care of. Now, you might say, okay.
Well, first of all, can you tell people what that even means?
Well, we provide milk and we provide ice cream to the kids, and somebody's got to provide that, and we have contractors who provide it.
All right, Bob, I'm going to have to interrupt you here, and I'm going to be the bad guy. Everybody's going to hate me because the children. And I, who does not love children? Everyone does. But
wait a second. It depends on the hour of the day and whether my grandchild, who's 4 years old, wants to watch cartoons when I want to watch Tucker Carlson.
There you go.
By the way, she wins. She watches Mickey Mouse.
As it should be.
As it should be. Yeah.
You just gave the pilot some kind of a quote. I don't know what it'll be. How you abuse your grandchildren, make them watch Tucker Carl. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something. Anyway, a serious question for you.
Yes.
And it's I'm not debating you because I would never have a chance against you, but I want to ask you this. Why are we providing ice cream to children? Now, I mean, I don't stop and give a child ice cream when I see him. Why are we, the taxpayers, providing ice cream? That's a good quote for the pilot too. Zumwalt hates children, does not ever want to see them eat ice cream again. But I'm asking that question.
Well, by the way, there's a difference between milk and ice cream. Generally, the kids will pay for their ice cream, and it will be an extra. The milk is, of course, free. What you have to look at, there is a federal school lunch program, and almost all of our students, in fact, I believe all of our students right now, under current federal programs, get a free lunch and they get a free breakfast.
And now does every child in the school get a free milk?
Yes, they will get a as the program is now. Okay, they will get free milks and things like that. And I understand. Let me tell you something. I understand what a lot of people believe, and a lot of people might not be wrong, that agricultural interests seem to oftentimes invade the school scene. Sometimes, we have a bill in the legislature, and I don't know what happened to that bill. I believe it passed one of the houses of the legislature. It requires that all schools have, get this, muscadine wine. Muscadine. I said something wrong. Muscadine grape juice. Okay.
Boy.
In their vending machines. Okay, or at least available to the children for selection. And you say to yourself, you scratch your head, muscadine wine, but what do we produce in North Carolina? We produce muscadine grapes, yes, which make muscadine grape juice, etc. A lot of people would take a look at that cynically and say, well, here's an agricultural interest trying to make money off of the kids.
Yes.
And if you look at fruit juices, and we all love to say, well, fruit juices are good for kids, and quite frankly, for most of the time they are, but they are loaded with sugar. As a matter of fact, one of the things, if you go to a dietitian, and the dietitian asks, are you drinking a lot of fruit juices? And she'll say, cut it down, because even though the sugar is natural, it's there. So one of the things we have to ask, and we do need to get a serious question about this, because we like to make fun of it. Who is using the schools for education, and who is really using the schools for profit? And we have to make sure that on the school board, now, by the way, if this bill passes, the school board has no say in it. We've got to provide the muscadine grape juice for our vending machines and the like. But in the legislature, we have to ask, is someone really just trying to profit off of these children? Perhaps the children might be better off with a selection of free water in addition to free milk. Maybe even though we do give them reduced fat milk, and we do give them even reduced fat chocolate milk, still, we have to ask ourselves, are we doing the best for the children? And we need to separate ourselves out from the agricultural interests, who oftentimes just want to make money off of it. And I get it, there are jobs, etc., and it's good for the economy. But don't forget, sell it to the parents. Let's make sure that the children get the healthiest food we can, that they like.
Well, no, I'm not going to make any friends by saying that there comes a point in time when it's someone's responsibility to make sure the children get enough nutrition. And no one wants to see a child suffer, but for schools to be providing meals to everyone, I just don't understand that. But it doesn't matter, because I don't want to fight that battle. I don't even want it to be a battle. I have more things, and you have more things.
Yeah, no, I do. We need to talk about things like.
I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
And it's not I got you. I didn't ask you about this before.
You can ask me. There's one thing you can do, JD. You can ask me any question you want to, and I may or may not give you an answer. But the answer for that first question is no. It's not boxers. But go ahead.
See, I must have had a stroke. I forgot I asked you a question about boxes. But anyway, are you familiar? This is kind of a yes or no question. Are you familiar with House Bill 508, Bob?
Not by number, but if you describe it.
Okay, I will, and I understand it. It's and actually, Jamie Bowles was one of the co-sponsors of this bill, and I like it. I think it's a good idea. But then again, I'm not the expert on this. It's a bill that would force the school boards to show where local funding is spent. Have you heard of that at all?
Well, I haven't, but it really depends on. And by the way, I've talked to Representative Bowles about such things. The problem goes something like this: we have a budget, and the budget is given to us. If you just say, where is the money spent? The question is, how far down the road do you want to go? So, for instance, the money is spent on teachers. Okay, well, is it spent on salaries or is it spent on pensions? Well, let's go farther down the road. And then how much is spent, well, let's say on supplies for the teachers. And out of that, how much money is spent on pencils? One of the problems that we do have, and it's a problem for our school board, and I think it's a problem for a lot of large organizations, is oftentimes the administration will want to give you a budget which will have broad-based categories. And sometimes it'll be multiple pages. It might be 30, 40 pages. And yet, then you have to ask yourself, but how much money was spent on library books? And that's not in the paperwork.
Well, Bob, I want to say this. It's very easy to buy into the superintendent's line if you're not careful. If you're not careful, he can say to you, well, we can't go down that far, and up to a point you can see that. But I'll tell you what I'm interested in as a taxpayer, and I think I speak for a lot of folks. I would like to see things like, how much did you spend on that hand dryer in the bathroom? And here's why. Because I believe there's evidence to show that local vendors for hand dryers have been cut out. They've had a deal with the schools for a long time. And we don't know why. I don't know why they've been cut out. We can talk about that another time. But even more so, I'd like to see how much money is, I'll just pick someone random, superintendent, spending, going to conferences, and how much money does he spend, on things like that? Because it may be a small amount of money, but I think it's things we should know. I don't think that he should have a budget that just allows him to, anytime he wants to go somewhere, to go. And yes, I'm accusing him of doing that.
Well, funny you should bring that up, because that is really a pet peeve of David Hensley.
Well, see, I didn't know that. Yeah, and I want folks to know I had no idea. David's not guiding my questions.
No. But I want to get down to what we've been talking about on the school board, and oddly enough, what the pilot has been opposed to. Okay, one of the things, and I don't want to take credit for it. I agree with him, by the way, but we have to give credit where credit is due. David said, we need to look at our budget from the ground up. Yes. I call it, and what I've been talking about also, is zero-based budget. There is a thing called a baseline budget, and there's a thing called zero-based budget. A baseline budget is simply, we did it last year, inflation is so much, so we need so much more, give us this amount of money, see ya. Okay? A zero-based budget is, we're going to start from zero, and we're going to see what we need. And in David's words, or maybe your guys' military words, billet by billet, we're going to see whether we can justify this position, that position. The hand dryer, we spent money on a hand dryer last year. Well, maybe we don't need a new hand dryer this year, so we can place that money into a different category. Maybe we can help to use that money for more teachers in the 4th and 5th grades. So one of the things that the pilot railed against was doing this kind of budgeting, and the administration sometimes tells us during the board meetings, well, are you? I believe one of the quotes was, "Are you trying to do my job?" Yes, we are trying to do. We are an oversight board, and we need to get down and granular.
Well, you know what the problem is? I understand why the pilot rails against it, because when you've been operating in the red for 10 years, you don't want anybody getting into your stuff and finding out where you've been wasting your money. Although schools, you don't consider them having to have operated in the red because they're using tax money and it's just an endless supply as far as they're concerned. But, you still have to get in there. You still have to look at it, because you know what? That's my budget. That isn't his budget. And if I want to look at it and see what he's spending on, and if he's got 100 years of pencils laying in a drawer up there, I want to know why he spent money buying 100 years worth of pencils.
And the pilot has a vested interest in this. And you know what? I'm gonna do something here. I feel bad because we've talked about them for a couple of minutes here, and I kind of said negative things. It's the pathetic pilot, not the pilot, but the pathetic pilot has a vested interest in this, and you wonder why they're such a crummy newspaper and why they write what they do. This is some guy he's at the top of as far as he'll ever go in his career, and he's working for the pathetic pilot. I mean,
running in the red.
That's all he can do. That's what he does. And
red ink all the way.
Well, here's what I look at. Oddly enough, and you're gonna get mad at me, JD. Okay, you're gonna get very mad at me.
Okay.
I'm actually glad that we have a lot of news sources. I'm actually glad that we have. You could say it's the pathetic pilot. I disagree with these guys 99.99% of the time, and I used to write columns for them. Okay, but I read it, and I also listen to WEEB because I get information there. I read the Sand Hill Sentinel because I get information there. These days, you have to read just about everything from everywhere. And I'm going to tell you something else. Coming in, I listen to you guys, by the way, at 7:30 as I'm driving in. But and don't let anybody know, on one of my buttons I have NPR, and every once in a while I will push that NPR button, and I will listen to Silvia Poggioli from NPR reporting from Italy, and it's really necessary nowadays. And this is what I want to teach the children. This is what I want the children to know. And this is one of the reasons why we need to circle back a little bit on this idea that we have things like critical race theory.
I got to stop you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing my job. You are a member of the school board. You've got a lot of things to tell us that people don't know, and I have steered you a completely wrong direction. I'm sorry, and I understand your hatred for the pilot, and I agree with the pathetic pilot. I agree with you, but. Tell us some more things about the what happened at the school board meeting, because that's people can't get that anywhere else except from a school board member, and I think that's
not going to be reported in the pilot.
No, pathetic pilot.
Okay, well, the first thing we do have to understand and remember is that we discussed critical race theory.
Okay,
and I have a proposal to simply get rid of critical race theory. It is a policy. I happen to be chairman of the policy committee, and I have drafted a policy to say we will not have critical race theory in the Moore County schools, period, exclamation point. And that policy was presented to the board and will be voted on at the upcoming board meeting, which is on Monday. And right now, it is questionable as to whether that policy will pass.
Bob, now I know that Philip Holmes, I know that David Hensley, Ed Dennison, and Stacy Caldwell have all told me they are opposed to critical race theory. Sleepy Ed went even further. He said that no way in the world he will ever support that. So that's the majority. Are you feeling pretty good about this or not?
No, I'm not feeling good about it, because what you're going to find out is that the other members of the school board, other than Holmes, myself, and Hensley, want this as policy of the board.
So did they just flat out tell me a blatant lie?
Well, this is what they would say, and I hate to put words in their mouths. I hope they'll come onto the radio, quite frankly. You've invited them many, many times. And we'll give the first person explanation. But what they said at our work session is, well, this shouldn't necessarily be a policy, or one of them said, we should trust our administrators not to bring this in. One person said, well, I don't see this in the Moore County schools, and so this is a problem, a solution in search of a problem. So they'll use that as opposition to the resolution. That's the problem. Quite frankly, in the law, we call it, as a matter of fact, also on Broadway, it's called all that jazz. They call it the razzle dazzle. I believe that people are saying, "Oh, we're against critical race theory," and will you create a policy that directs the administration not to have critical race theory in our schools? Well, no, we can't do that. That's not what we're going to do.
Let's talk about trusting the administration. I've never had a job in my life, and I've had a lot of jobs, where my boss would say, someone would ask me, JD, did you do such and such? And the boss said, don't you dare question him. We hired him. You don't need to oversee this guy. He knows what he's doing. That's not why you guys were hired, Bob. You guys were hired to make sure that the administration did what they and I'm going to say one more thing.
Okay.
You and David and Philip are doing an amazing job. I know one of the other board members got upset the other day because you were questioning Catherine Murphy. I say, keep going, question everyone, because it's our money. And we I don't care how much they spend. No one else does, as long as it's going towards something that we need and it's going to the lowest vendor within reason, things like that.
Well, here's what it's all about. Ronald Reagan said it. What did he say? He said, trust but verify. That is exactly what we're doing. That is the purpose of a board. That is a purpose when you have a board of education or any board which oversees a corporation or a business or a government agency. You're not going to get down. Look, I don't really worry too much about whether who they're going to hire in terms of whether this person has a credential from the University of North Carolina or Pembroke or something like that. I do try to give the administration as much leeway as possible. But when I find out that someone has been hired, let's say, from Oshkosh Correspondence University.
That's where I got mine.
Did you? Okay. Yeah. Very, very good school, by the way. Not much of a football team, but we'll talk about that later. That is where my oversight comes. And I say, whoa, wait a second. I see that you've done that. Back up. We've got to do things a little differently. When it comes to critical race theory, we have to understand that there are things coming down from the state of North Carolina, and they are coming down to our schools. There are training videos. There are papers. There is professional development, which is coming down, and it is rife with critical race theory.
All right, now let me interrupt you again, Bob. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, but I know that we're already pretty full on this, Colonel, but where are they having the meeting about critical race theory?
Yeah,
and
Thursday, 7 o'clock at the Southern Pines Civic Club.
This Thursday, 7 o'clock p.m. So, and it may be standing room only, but there'll be a lady there who knows exactly what she's talking about. She'll present this to you in full so you can make your own decision about it.
Well, and what critical race theory is, just so that everyone will understand. It is looking at the world through a particular lens.
A lens of what? Racism?
Lens of racism. It's not very different than the Marxists used to do. They used to say we have to look at everything from the point of view of class. Yes. And now they say we have to look at everything from the point of view of race. No, you don't. You have to look at everything from the point of view of everything. Right.
Well, the problem here is without the policy that you propose, things are going to be inadvertently presented in our classrooms and deliberately presented in our classrooms, and we'll have no recourse because there is no policy.
Well, that's what policies do is they send a signal. They send a signal to our teachers. They send a signal to our administration that this will not be taught in our classroom. And oh, by the way, we didn't say that you can't talk about it. In the advanced classes, sure, this is a part of the American experience. We're going to talk about it. They're even going to debate it, but they are not going to present. Let me give you an example.
Bob, we've got about a minute left, so if there's anything you want to talk about that happened on that board meeting, you probably need to let people know pretty quickly.
Well, the very, very good news is that the sale of the Aberdeen Primary School is going through the ceiling. We're going to be getting a bunch of money for that school.
I believe that's just exactly what, again, David Hensley predicted.
Right.
That it would go up in value.
And all that money is going to go to help our students.
Yeah. And if I could, I'd like to thank you. I did it with David too. Hey, from a taxpayer, Moore County taxpayers perspective, thank you for doing those things and preventing the administration and our legacy school board from just giving this stuff away to their good crony buddies there. Because that's what was happening.
Well, that is what they were trying to do, and
all right, everybody.
We'll keep
thanks
the faith.
for listening. Bob Levy, school board member. Thanks for coming in, Bob, and maybe we'll see some of the other school board members.
Everybody, it's Wednesday, it's Cinco de Mayo, it's almost Friday. I hope everyone has a great day. Make sure you get out there and enjoy the weather before it turns ugly. We'll see you tomorrow.
When I come back, you'd better be laughing.
So, what have we learned? Heck, I don't know. But this is one crazy show. Bye now.
Cut! That's it. Go home, everybody. None of this ever happened. Well, y'all come back now, you hear?
I think we're through here.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, man. That's pretty much all I got, man. Okay, class dismissed. Rock on!
Well, let me tell you something. Everything comes to an end.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sandhills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB Southern Pines.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Damage assessment and cleanup, the order of the day across the South, hounded by powerful storms. In Jackson, Mississippi, homeowner Marilyn Clark says there wasn't much time to seek shelter. She says she told her son,
let's go and get in the hallway because that tornado's here. And so by the time I got to the hallway foyer, it was all over. And then, so I didn't realize all this had happened. So, in fact, it wasn't too long ago before I walked out here to really see this.
She spoke with WBLT-TV, record rainfall in the Birmingham, Alabama area with many high water rescues. It's President Biden's new target in the drive to vaccinate Americans against COVID-19.
Our goal by July 4th is to have 70% of adult Americans with at least one shot and 160 million Americans fully vaccinated. That means giving close to 100 million shots, some first shots, others second shots, over the next 60 days.
India being ravaged by the coronavirus, and apparently it has followed India's official delegation to the G7 summit in London.
2 delegates in the Indian delegation have been tested positive, so the entire delegation is now self-isolating. The Indian Foreign Minister, Subramanyam Jaishankar, is not one of those. He has not been tested positive. He tweeted that he learned last night of possible exposure.
That's the BBC's Will Evans in London. A decision about to be announced as to whether former President Trump will be allowed back onto Facebook. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures in positive territory. Right now, Dow futures are up 79 points. NASDAQ futures better by 90, and the S&P futures up 16 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
At CN News, I'm Mike Riley. Facebook's Independent Oversight Board will decide today if former President Donald Trump will be allowed to return to the site. CBS